Hello and welcome to Cooks and Cars, episode number 9. I'm Rob D'Amico alongside Adam Merlin from the Merlin Auto Group, and we are on episode number 9. I can't believe it, and our subscribers are up to 10 people. I was hoping to say 10,000, but we'll get there one day. All you got to do is help us spread the word. We appreciate everybody. We're getting some audio back with us here. Hey, Ryan. All right, we're having some audio difficulties here. I'm going to take off my headphones for a second. But we are up to 10 subscribers, which is good. We will get more and more as we go along. So we appreciate everybody who is subscribing and all that. So please do. And if you have any trouble, go to cooksandcars.com where you can interact with us through our Facebook and our YouTube pages as well. We do appreciate everybody who joins us every Saturday at 10 a.m. And we got a packed show today. So I'm going to talk about the guests we got coming on and who's coming on a little bit later, because we do have to make this about a 45-minute show today because our producer's doing some other stuff as well this week. He's a very busy man. So we have Shannon Morgan, who's going to be joining us, a.k.a. Big Green Egg Foodie from the Big Green Egg Team Green. We appreciate her coming on. She's going to be talking about the wok cooking. So that's going to be great. Ricky Taylor's going to be joining us, driver of the number 10. I always screw up this name. Konica Minolta. There we go. I don't know why I can't say that, but he's in the Acura for today's Rolex 24. And we also have Juan Pablo Montoya. He's going to be joining us. He's the driver of the number 60 Acura as well in today's Rolex 24. But right now, we're going to bring on our guest. It is Shannon Morgan, a.k.a. Big Green Egg Foodie, talking wok cooking today. And everybody's like, wok on a Big Green Egg? How do you do that?
Right. Good morning. Thanks for having me on, guys. I think once I started cooking on the Big Green Egg, the wok was the natural progression for me. If you don't know, I'm actually a vegetarian. I do cook meat for my husband, so I cook both on the grill. But the wok was just such a great way to introduce cooking vegetables and just expanded what I could do on the Big Green Egg.
So when you're cooking on the wok, I want you to explain a couple things to me. What is your setup for the Big Green Egg? How are you setting that up, and what are you doing with that?
So I take the base from the 2-piece expander. So you've got the base that you can put your convector in, but you're going to not use the convector. You're just going to use the base, and then the wok sets right inside of it. It cradles it. So it's quite simple. I get the wok to temperature about between 350, 400 degrees for the grill. And then once you start wok cooking, you're actually going to close the draft door either all the way or almost all the way, because when you have the wok, the lid is open, your grill is getting plenty of oxygen. So you don't need to keep the base open. Otherwise, you are going to be having a 600-700 degree wok before you know it. So.
Yeah, and talk about making sure you have the gloves on as well, because that is so important, because there will be some flames from time to time. And what you need to do if that happens is help shut the dome for a little bit, and that helps. So talk about that and why you should do that.
I always, when I'm grilling, have at least one of my 2 hot gloves with me, because if something does happen, I want to have those easily accessible, because it's just too easy to think about grabbing something hot. And you don't want to do that with your bare hands. So I always keep them there, like you said, just for in case of emergency. I did have a wok flare up one time when I squirt oil. I wasn't paying attention. I think I squirted oil on the edge of the wok, maybe too close to the side, and it did catch fire. Luckily, I had no food. And like you said, I just closed the dome down. Within a minute or two, the fire was out, and I carried on with my cooking.
I'm pretty good at creating a fire in my egg. If we were going to have an episode on how to do that, I'm pretty good at that.
I could have done one of those last night. I burped the egg, but I guess I didn't let it go long enough because it was a big whoosh coming out.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing I really, with the egg, it really requires patience, which is something that I wasn't necessarily blessed with. And I think that the more patient you are when it comes to trying to cook on the egg, the better off you are, no matter what it is that you cook.
Well, the nice thing with the wok cooking is it is really quick. So you don't have to have a lot of patience. You can just go in there, have everything prepped, throw your meat in, throw your veggies in, sauce, and it is a very quick cook.
How did you get into cooking it with the wok on the egg? I mean, there's so many, to me, I thought the egg was a grill, and then I come to find out, like, people are making their breakfast on the egg. They're making pizza on the egg. Now you're cooking with a wok on the egg. Like, I mean, is it, how did you even get into doing that?
Well, I started wok with the Big Green Egg, started cooking on it, loving everything I was doing, but was looking for other options because I am vegetarian. I cook some meat for my husband. I needed options for me. And I think what turned me on so much to Big Green Egg cooking was how versatile this grill is. I was talking with some people yesterday, and like you, they felt that this was just a smoker and just a grill. It was great for ribs and pulled pork and steak, but you can really cook anything on a Big Green Egg. And that's, I think, what my page is, my biggest focus is how many things you can cook that aren't just slabs of meat. While it's great at that, you can do everything. And I cook mainly my entire meals on the egg. And the wok was just a natural progression. It just gave me another way to prepare something other than just grilled meats and other grilled vegetables. And
so we're talking to Shannon Morgan, aka Big Green Egg Foodie, and you've been with team BG Team Green for a while now, and we appreciate you being there. But how did you get started with an egg? I know you do. I think it's real estate on the as a day job, and then you got into the barbecue side of it, and wok cooking's picked up for you. You've really taken the ball and ran with that. But how did you get started using your Big Green Egg?
Well, I'm in insurance, close real estate insurance.
Sorry,
it's all the same.
Okay. I'm a graduate of Leadership Collier, which in our community is just a leadership program, and they are one of the beneficiaries of the. We have a Big Green Egg Fest here in Bonita Springs once a year, sponsored by Sunshine Ace Hardware, and they were looking for chefs to represent Leadership Collier. I volunteered jokingly saying I would do it if I could cook vegetarian food on the egg. Mind you, I've never cooked on a Big Green Egg before this. I really hadn't even cooked much on a grill. And I jokingly said that, and they said, yeah, we'd love to have you do that. And I was like, oh crap, what did I just get myself into?
Whoops.
Yeah. So my first time ever cooking on an egg was at Egg Fest. I have to say, when the rep came around to fire up the egg, I was so relieved because I'm kind of not even sure what I'm supposed to be doing here. So at that one, I cooked mini carrot hot dogs. Yep, little hot dogs. And you should have seen the people at Egg Fest coming around going, wait a minute, what are you cooking? And I'm like, carrot hot dogs. And most of the people really enjoyed them. Some people seemed apprehensive, and I'm like, it's just a carrot. It's not some kind of something gross. It's just a carrot. But it went over really well. And by the end of the day, it was hot, sweaty. I was exhausted, was absolutely in love with Big Green Egg cooking, and got my egg the next week.
Carrot hot dog, like it's a grilled carrot in a hot dog bun, I guess? Or
yeah.
What makes it a hot dog?
The mustard and relish.
Well, you actually marinate them. You cook them a little bit ahead of time. You boil them so they're slightly softer, and then you marinate them in a bunch of seasonings. So it does have that smoky flavor that you would get, and then add that to the Big Green Egg. They're pretty good. But like you said, a lot of what the hot dog tastes like is the ketchup, the mustard, and we did a chili cheese sauce on it. It was a vegetarian chili. So there were a lot of flavors going on there.
So talk about one of your favorite recipes that you do on your wok.
Gosh, every time I do a
All
lot
of them?
Wok live. Yeah, that's the problem. I do a lot of live cooks, and I've invited a lot of Instagram chefs and just home cooks to join me. And every time I do a wok cook with them, I'll do their recipe with them live. So if anybody's watching, you want to wok cook with me, send me a message on Instagram. I'll be happy to do a live with you, or send me your recipe and I'll cook it for you.
Oh, that's awesome. And I guarantee you the guy next to me is going to be asking.
I got to buy a wok first. I don't know. Do y'all have like a Big Green Egg wok?
Absolutely.
Oh, how did I not get that?
I don't know. We got to take another trip through the store over here.
Yeah, I think you know who to talk to get one.
I thought I bought every accessory available.
There's always something more, but get your wok. We'll do a wok live one day with you. But back to the recipes. So every single time someone sends me their recipe to do live, I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be good. And then I eat it and I go, I think this might be better than the last recipe. So there's so many options. And I think, Rob, I sent you kind of a generic email, like a recipe of just kind of where to starting point, because it is so versatile. You can cook pork on it, chicken, you can do tofu, you can do no protein on your wok cooks. I swear I'm going to cook tofu for you. I made Captain Ron eat tofu.
Did you really?
Survived. Yes.
Yeah, all right. I think I'd be scared of it. I don't know. It's just one of those things.
You know, it's interesting. I have to be honest. Like, my wife does not love meat, and you know, everything we cook on the egg is obviously meat. So I think that this could really be a good alternative, so that we, you know, I mean, cooking on the egg is like an event in my house. You know, there's literally nothing to do on Sundays anymore, so we hang out, and like, it's a great activity to cook on the egg. But you know, me and my oldest son are really the only ones that will eat anything that comes off the egg.
Yeah.
So this could be a really great alternative to.
Yeah, you need to check out my page after this and take your wife there and have her just kind of go through, and she can pick out, like, it's like a menu, and she could point out and say, like, hey, look at this. I want to eat that. Because that's what my friends do when I come to visit them. They pull up my Instagram page.
Cook
and
this.
It's like their menu. And they're like, can you make this, this, and this? I'm like, I can't do 4 things. So that recipe I sent you, Rob, and anybody who's needing some pointers and where to start, it's kind of a very generic recipe, because you can put in whatever vegetables you want. Clean out the fridge. If you have half a pepper left, chop it up and put it in there. You don't have to have a ton of one thing. You can just kind of throw stuff in there that needs to get used up.
Yeah.
Pick your flavor combinations. It's a soy sauce based seasoning, but you can add peanut butter to it to make it a peanut butter. You can add rice. You can add noodles.
Hey, I got a great question here. It comes from Big Paul on the Grill. We all know him.
Yeah.
How do you care for your wok in between cooks? Is what the question is here. So, how do you care for your wok?
That is a great question. I actually have a video on my page talking about that. Treat your wok like you do your cast iron pans. So when I'm done cooking, I wash it just with hot water and use a scrub. I have a chainmail scrubber. Scrub it off and then dry it. That's the most important thing. Dry it. Do not just leave it on your counter. If you leave it on your counter to air dry, you're going to wake up to having some rust spots on it. So dry it, and then I heat it over my stove, or if your grill is still hot, throw it back on the grill, because that'll take off any additional moisture. And then most of the time, I will go ahead and add another layer I have some cast iron seasoning. Put a quick layer of that on the inside and the out. And then gorgeous.
We got, let's see, C-Mac Cooks, says Shannon, the queen of the Big Green Egg Wok. That's a nice compliment there. Hello, everyone. Good morning from, looks like, Jerry. We appreciate Jerry coming on. And let's see here. I'm looking for another question.
No, that's a good question right there. Your answer is not going to be liked by the Big Green Egg leadership crew, but it's can you use any wok, or does it have to be the Big Green Egg branded wok?
It has to be the Big Green Egg.
There you go.
Right answer. Well, because honestly, most woks come with that wood handle,
right,
and you can't have that on there. That the Big Green Egg wok literally is made with no handles. It's got 2 metal handles that you can grab, again, with the gloves. You know, be smart.
Big Green Egg branded gloves.
That's
right,
correct.
Right.
That's
yeah,
that's
sure.
right.
Right.
We got everything, man. Come on, you know that.
Right, look, we're even sporting matching shirts today.
That's
yeah,
right.
You are. I mean, I don't have any of the clothes, Rob. What's up with that?
I'll get you some clothes.
Okay.
We'll go shopping for you.
All right.
All right. Before we head out, is there any, tips, tricks, things like that when doing this? And I know you already mentioned the, closing the draft door at the bottom, because I think that's the real big one, is because a lot of people don't understand, you have that open, the more air it's going to get in there, the flames start coming up around the outside. So shut that down. You got plenty of oxygen that's getting in with the dome open, but anything else with when you're wok cooking?
Make sure whatever oil you're using, you want to do a higher smoke point oil. I prefer canola, and I put it in one of the squirt bottles, like the old fashioned looking, the ketchup bottles.
That's right.
And that way it's much easier to control how much oil you're putting in, and have everything prepped and ready to go. Like we talked about, wok cooking is very fast. You do not want to have your meat done and throw in some of your veggies and still have to cut up your onions. So I have everything cut up, prepared, kind of stacked into piles based on whether they're a firmer vegetable, because those are going to take a little longer to cook, versus some softer vegetables. So have it ready. Have all of your sauces ready. Have everything ready to go, because once you start wok cooking, you are done. 10 to 12 minutes from the start of throwing your meat in there to
Yeah.
scooping it out and plating it. So have it ready to go.
Here's another question real quick. It looks like Jerry again. How do I get rid of rust? So if somebody has the wok and they got rust on it, how do they take care of that?
I would just use some type of scrubby, like a Brillo pad, something like that. One without, I have some that don't have the soap on them. Just scrub it off. Then start to just re-season it like you would cast iron.
Yeah, heat it up, oil it, the whole 9 yards. One more. What temperature do you let your egg get to before shutting down the vent at the bottom?
I get the egg to somewhere between 350 and 400 degrees before I start cooking. And then I don't shut the draft door until I actually start cooking. So I'll put the wok on at 350 to 400, let it heat up for a few minutes. It doesn't take too long. And then when I open the dome to start cooking, that's when I shut the draft door down. Because now that the lid's going to be open, you're getting, like you said, you're getting plenty of oxygen just from the dome lid being open, that you don't need the bottom open too.
Yeah. All right. So if we have any guests on that want to maybe cook alongside of you on a live event, how do they find you? Where are you at on Instagram, Facebook, all that great stuff?
Big Green Egg Foodie. You can see behind me maybe my logo, so it helps you find it a little easier. Reach out to me on Instagram. I do have a Facebook page, but I don't find Facebook is quite as friendly as far as their analytics go. So majority of my content's on Instagram. Message me. I would love to have you come on, join me for a wok cook. If you have questions, I get a lot of people message me with questions. I will always answer everyone who messages me. If you don't want to cook live, you're too nervous to cook live with me, send me your recipe. I'll do it. I'll give you a shout out and share your recipe with the rest of the world.
That's pretty cool. Hey,
And
Shannon.
if you're looking for insurance, call her too.
Yeah.
Right.
One-stop shop. I love it.
Exactly.
Hey,
Yeah.
Shannon, thank you so much. We do appreciate your time today, and thank you very much for joining us today here on Cooks and Cars.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Have a great day, and
Oh,
you need to go shopping now after this.
I know. We'll
Don't
take
worry.
them.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
All right, Shannon, thank you.
Bye.
All right, well, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, we're going to have Ricky Taylor going to be joining us in the Rolex 24 that starts this afternoon, 24-hour race. So I can't wait for that if you love sports car racing as much as I do.
This is real race. This isn't iRacing
No.
like we've been talking about for the past few weeks. This is like real, like get in the car, like real racing.
24-hour
you crash
endurance.
and your car's broken.
Yes,
not
that
like
is.
hit reset.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah,
reset
cool,
button.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, so we'll take a break. We come back. We'll have Ricky Taylor joining us and also Juan Pablo Montoya as well. So stick around. It's Cooks and Cars.
There's a place where fire and flavor are celebrated, where grilling traditions and new techniques are perfected. Here in Big Green Egg Country, you can grill it, roast it, smoke it, or bake it. It's the most versatile grill you'll ever own. Simple to light, easy to use, comes with a free lifetime warranty. Have it delivered to your door by a certified dealer in your community and start enjoying the ultimate cooking experience. Shop online for home delivery at biggreenegg.com. That's biggreenegg.com.
Adam Merlin, president of Merlin Auto Group, and over the past 12 years, we've been successful at building our business with the undying focus of taking the pain points out of what normally is a miserable process, which is buying an automobile. And it was on this mindset that about 2 years ago, we launched our service department. Because let's face it, the only thing that's potentially negative about owning these exotics or ultra luxury cars is the fact that you have to service them, is the fact that they stand the chance of possibly breaking and you don't know what's wrong. It's the fear of the unknown that we as the consumer sometimes are really nervous about before we go and buy that Ferrari, before we go and buy that Aston Martin. And that's the reason we started Merlin Auto Group Service Department. We went out and got factory-trained, certified technicians for Ferrari, Maserati, Bentley, Aston Martin, Rolls-Royce, and Porsche to make sure that you had somebody that you can rely on to help you manage your automotive investment and make sure that the right things were getting fixed, they were getting fixed the right way by people who knew how to fix them and were willing to take the time, answer your questions, and make sure that you were satisfied and you understood what was going on. If you're looking for a shop where you can get an appointment easily, where we'll answer the phone, where you can talk to the technician, where we genuinely care about your problem and truly want to help you solve it and be your partner in your automotive ownership experience, You need to give us a chance here at Merlin Auto Group.
Welcome back to Cooks and Cars. Hi, I'm Rob D'Amico alongside Adam Merlin. Follow us online, cooksandcars.com. And be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. That really does help out in getting the word out there. And if you're watching and listening today, you can interact on our Facebook pages, our Instagram, interact with the show on the Facebook page and YouTube, but you can also follow along with Instagram and Twitter as well. All the links, again, are at cooksandcars.com. We're kind of in a rush today because we got a lot of guests to get to in a little bit of time. But right now, joining us on the phone is the driver of the number 10 Acura for Wayne Taylor Racing, who, by the way, he's back with his dad's team. Ricky Taylor joins us. Ricky, welcome to the show, man. Thanks for coming on with us.
Hey, Rob. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So up early this morning, getting ready for the race. How do you prepare for this? Because this is a 24-hour race, and I know you got other drivers with you, so you're in and out of the car all day, all night. There's, day driving, night driving. How do you prepare to get ready for a race like this?
Yeah, this year's actually a bit unique. You caught me. You're my first appointment of the day. I think this is the latest Rolex 24 start in history. I don't think there's ever been one that starts later than this. So starting at 3:40 today, obviously ending at 3:40 the next day, makes for a really long Sunday. And so everybody's trying to sleep in as much as possible. I've got Rossi's bus next to me and Elliot next to him, and I think everybody's still sleeping. Just
hey, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and walk over there and see what they're doing?
Yeah, I'll see somebody pop out for breakfast every now and then. But yeah, everybody's just trying to push it back as much as possible. And I think for Philippe being European, it's actually kind of works out for him on the time zone. But for me, just going to wake up slowly, just sit in the bus, try and rest as much as possible. Kind of load up on some food because my first time in the car is probably going to be only at sunset, probably 5:30 or 6 o'clock tonight.
So you'll go through the transition from, sun till nighttime. What is that like? Because it really does affect when you're driving out there, how you just see the lights coming up on you, or vice versa. You're coming up on a car and you're faster than them and you're getting in a corner and it's dark out. You got to adjust to all that.
Yeah, it's always nice to do a stint in the day and then do your night stint.
Right.
The day stint, you can kind of get your bearings and everything and get into the car and everything. But just because there's such limited running on the Rolex 24 weekend, you get all your running really at the Roar. And then it's also nice to do the transition. Instead of jumping straight into the pitch black, you get to kind of, progress through it. But something that's changed over the years is ever since the One Daytona project, when they increased the front stretch stands, the sun used to be right in your eyes on the front straight, and now actually it made it much better because the stands will block the sun from being right in your eyes, so you don't have to deal with that as much. But yeah, so for me it's nice to get to see the progression into the dark, and then the next guy will have to deal with just going straight in.
So we're talking with Ricky Taylor. It's Cooks and Cars, and the cooks part. So what do you eat to prepare? Like last night, you load up carbs. How you eat a lot of protein today? How does that work out?
Yeah, last night we went for the guys felt like steak, and but we ended up Outback was packed, so we went over to Bonefish and got some fish and some healthy stuff and salad, and then today we'll start to load up on on some carbs and proteins and stuff. But actually, right before the weekend started, I had Philippe and Alex over at the house, and we made pizzas on the Big Green Egg. So, but the last meal on the egg was pizzas, and everybody seemed to enjoy it. I think Alex's dad has an egg at home, and yeah, so pizzas weren't a bad way to start the weekend.
Yeah, I think Rossi does have an egg. I'm not sure, but I believe he does. Maybe it's the one at his dad's, but I remember him getting one.
Yeah,
you got to get Elio one, by the way. I told you Elio with winning the championship. We'll get him an egg if he wants one.
Yeah, I think you need to send him a cook as well. Someone to
Makes it a lot easier.
Little prima donna over there, maybe. I don't know what's going on with him.
Actually, he's gotten into the cooking a little more because with the COVID restrictions, we can't have people in the track as much. So,
yeah.
The attendance is so limited to get actually into the paddock. So he's been surviving on his own over there. He's been making himself salmon every night, and and he doesn't have anybody to cook for him in the track anymore. So he's surviving, but he's a good little cook. He can handle the egg for sure. He'd love it.
So, Ricky, talk a little bit about your car. You've driven a lot of different cars, and we're curious about this Acura that you're driving now. Tell us a little bit about that and how you feel about it.
Yeah, I've driven all the constructors that are currently make the base of all the LMP2 chassis, and the Acura is based on the Orica chassis and designed for Europe and all the fast, really smooth tracks. It was really a big learning curve coming to America, where we race on tracks that are fast and smooth like Watkins Glen, but then we go to places like street course at Long Beach or street course at Belle Isle in Detroit, and then Sebring, which is extremely bumpy. And so the unique thing about racing in America is the car has to be able to do it all. And it really took all 3 years of development with this car to suit the different demands that we have in America. And now we've got a package that can really do it all. And everywhere we go, we know we have a shot to win. But historically here in Daytona, the Cadillacs have been the car to beat. I think our first shot out was probably our best chance with the Acura so far. But we had a little issue in the night and weren't able to be there at the end. But this year, it seems like everybody's really closely matched. I think, we have a good race car. I think on an outright lap, Cadillac still have us a little bit. But the Acura does really well over the long run. And we've done a lot to improve the tire life and drivability of the engine, which has been a big point of development.
We're talking to Ricky Taylor and Rob D'Amico alongside Adam Merlin. It's Cooks and Cars. We're also going to bring on Juan Pablo Montoya, who also drives one of the Acuras. So we're going to talk to him and have all three of you, or both you guys on with us. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be talking to, Ricky's like, oh boy. And by the way, Ricky, I got to tell you, Ricky is one of those guys, won the championship last year and has a great record back with his dad, which is kind of cool and neat to see with him. So it'll be nice to see him, his dad, the family back together again and on the racetrack. So we're getting everything connected behind the scenes here. Ryan at the shop is getting us connected. But while we're doing that, I know we can probably still hear Ricky. Ricky, what are your expectations here throughout the race? Because 24 hours and nowadays it used to be where a car would be well ahead of everybody. But now you guys are within seconds after 24 hours, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's no longer a game of, save the brakes and save the clutch and save the gearbox or any of that. It's really a sprint all the way through, and having such a strong field, although there's seven cars in our class, doesn't sound like much, but the quality is so high, and everything we're doing is basically to put the pressure on the others. If anybody, relaxes too much, it's going to become very, very easy to lose, 10, 12 seconds. And all that track position, even though it's 24 hours, becomes really important at the end, because more than likely with 5 classes of cars and so much going on, there's going to be yellows, and there's always going to be that late race restart possibly, and you want to be in with a shot, but also have the car in one piece to be able to go and fight for the win.
And Elio knows not to get too crazy going into the bus stop, right? He learned that lesson already, right?
Yeah, as you said, Elio and I won the championship last year, and coming from IndyCar, which was all sprint racing, he's become an excellent sports car driver, and he wants to win a watch so badly, and he's prepared himself really, really well, and he's really turned himself from a fantastic IndyCar driver to a world-class sports car driver over the last 3 years. So I think we have a really strong lineup. I think the problem is everybody has a really strong lineup. So it's gonna be really tough, and Elliot knows what he has to do.
All right, Ricky, we got Juan Pablo Montoya. He's joining us as well. Juan, welcome to the show, man. We appreciate you coming on. Get ready for the Rolex 24 and your Acura. Welcome to Cooks and Cars.
Hey, how you doing? I can tell we're doing pretty good. What can I say? We want to really kick Ricky's ass today.
I knew this was coming. That's why I wanted to make sure I get both of you guys on so we get a nice little battle going. But listen, it's for the same manufacturer. So that'd be great for, you guys in the long run. You bring everything to the top, cream rises to the top. So hopefully you guys can, battle it out there for the win. It would be great to see. But Juan, I want to bring you on as well and talk about, we were just talking to Ricky, how he prepares. What are you doing right now to prepare to get ready for this race? And I know you're again, we're probably the first ones talking to you this morning, waking you up, but how does that process go throughout the day?
For me, I was actually laying in bed watching the movie Chips.
Oh, nice.
I am serious. Like I just got out of the bed just to do this. I'm watching TV, and that's it. That's all we're doing.
So talk about the new team you're with this year, Meyer Shank Racing. What does that mean to you? You're just doing the endurance races, so you're only racing I think it's 6 hours and above, correct?
I'm doing the 3 long races, the 10, 12, and 24, the 3 long races, and it's been good. It's kind of weird because they have, same as Ricky this year, they have 4 guys, and when there's 4 guys in the car, there's so little practice time. It's like you really don't get to drive the car at all, so it makes it very difficult. But I think we got a decent car, and the 10 car looked really strong, at night on Thursday. So we'll see. We have to wait and see. I think probably Ricky would agree with me that the Cadillacs look very, very strong. So they're going to make our life very difficult.
Yeah, he had mentioned that.
Now, how hard is it with 4 different drivers that when you get in there to make sure that the car, the seat, the positioning, everything's set up for you? I mean, I know when I go get in my wife's car, it takes me 20 minutes just to set everything back up for me. You guys doing this race, how difficult is that process?
It's pretty simple. We have what we call a seat insert, and it's basically a mold, the back mold of or what you need and the position you want to be in the car. And you know what I mean? The other guy gets their insert out, you put yours in, and you sit on it and you drive. That's it. It's not too complicated. We don't overthink it. We just get on with the program.
And then we were talking about, obviously, this is Cooks and Cars. We want to talk about cooking a little bit. What'd you eat to prepare for this type of race? Did you go out somewhere? Did you make something at the house? And then what are you doing today before the race, before you get in there? Because that's one of those things we've seen these drivers where they get in and then right before the start, they're running to the grid because they had to go run and use the restroom.
Well, you do a lot of drinking. I use a product called Infinite Nutrition that is like custom made to you. So I've met, I know the people there for a while, and they custom build the drinks for me, whether I'm doing, a long endurance race or a short race, and the products are different. And, I normally use that, and that's always been enough fuel for me for the races. And I tend to eat a little bit of pasta and chicken or stuff like that, a little bit of rice. Like I'm going to have rice and a Caesar salad with chicken for lunch. And then probably in the evening, probably a little bit of, I don't know, pasta or something. It really depends how hungry you are. It's weird with the start time being so late that, you need a lot of time. It's like the more you're going to get up and you got all day of racing to go.
Yeah, we're talking to Juan Pablo Montoya. We appreciate you coming on with us this morning. I know it's a big day for you guys. Got the big 24-hour race coming up, and we're pretty excited to watch it as sports car fans and car guys, because this is one of those things where we get to see, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Aston Martins, the Acuras, the Cadillacs, all these big name cars out there racing on a track, and it's got to be a lot of fun for you guys to get in there. So besides this and the endurance side, what else you got going on this year?
Oh, I got the World Endurance Championship. That is the WEC. So those are 6 races. That is the World Championship of Endurance. And I have the Indy 500 with McLaren. So I'm pretty excited, with the Arrow McLaren. They seem to have very strong cars. So I'm pretty excited to be racing with them and have a shot at the 500.
Now, how different is it? I mean, I hate to talk about COVID too much, but given it's kind of the world we're living in right now, how different is it, and how different is the lifestyle, the preparation, the lack of the crowds? I mean, does that really affect, or are you just in a zone focusing on driving the best you can?
I think Daytona done a really good job this year. Last year was very lonely races. This year, Daytona, they've done a really nice job for, like, everybody's kind of keeping to themselves, but there's a bunch of people came to watch in their motorhomes and stuff. So we will have a bit of a crowd that is really nice, but everybody, it's nice. It's a little different because you see every motorhome and like their families sitting together, and like normally used to see a big pack of people and kind of crazy, and now it's a little more isolated, but they do they're doing a nice job. Speedway did a really nice job, and I think it's a nice way to open the season. It's a lot of cars, a lot more cars than normal, and that's going to be a curveball to everybody with the traffic and everything.
Yeah, look, we really admire. We know that it's a challenging sport anyway, and it's disruptive with the pandemic and all of that stuff. And we admire that, you guys persevere through it and put on a good show for us. That, we're craving things to do and things to watch and things to look at. So, all of the professional athletes out there, I think that, it kind of goes unsaid, but these guys are, they're going through a lot to try to put on the show.
Hey, I know we got Ricky back on real quick, and I want to ask Ricky, Ricky, a question about being back at your dad's team. We joked, we sent some texts earlier on when you first got back there, how quickly he had removed your name off of everything but when you got back. But now that you're back in there, you're back in the swing of things, it's got to be a lot easier to go to a team like that where, there are things that are recognizable, the relationships are already there. You kind of know everybody. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it was really nice going back. Obviously, it was tough on my dad and tough on me at first to leave the family team. But it was a great opportunity for me to go away for a couple of years and experience something new. And so Jordan was kind of the one family member left in the team. And so now coming back, I feel they were calling Jordan Ricky at first. Now everybody's still calling me Jordan, and so I'm Jordan's brother again. I think I'm Jordan's brother in a lot of instances. Wayne's son or Jordan's brother, so it feels like home again for sure.
So, what'd you do for the last 2 Thanksgivings since you were kicked out of the family?
I know. I feel lucky to have been accepted back somehow.
And then you have
what's the camaraderie amongst racers? Not to put you guys on the spot, but both of you being out there. Yeah, right. You have people like slashing tires in the middle of the night and like sabotaging the other guy's motorhome, or what's that like?
I think the IndyCar guys are a bit
serious.
Sorry, go ahead, Juan.
Go.
Yeah, so they're both talking over each other.
No respect for anybody around here. Go ahead, Juan. You go ahead. Go ahead first.
Gotta respect. He's got to respect the elders.
That's right. That's right.
No, honestly, we've been texting a lot with Ricky talking about the cars, because normally we used to run the same cars together and share all the information, and now I think that's changed a bit. I think it's kind of weird, and I think if they share more, I think it would be better. But I'm sure every team owner and they have point of view. But we'll see. I think after this week, whoever runs better, the other team will go, I think we need to share information.
And Ricky, what about you?
Yeah, it has been weird. Obviously, the four of us, between Juan, Elliot, Dane, and I, we built a good relationship together over the past 3 years, and as much as we want to beat each other, we have a lot of respect for one another. And so throughout the weekend, we all know what each other can do. So we know, like, if the one car's faster than the other, maybe they're doing something good, and so we're constantly checking in with each other, like, how's your car and how's your car, and so it's been interesting because over the course at Penske, everybody was running the same stuff, and it was completely open, obviously, and you kind of had one way of doing things, and now there's 2 whole new teams that have a different way of looking at this car and have had some new ideas and things, and I think the cars have gone in a little bit of a different direction, and we'll find out if it was good or bad in the next 24 hours, but the relationship between the four of us has stayed positive so far, and we're trying to keep each other sane a little bit, I think.
Well, we're talking to Juan Pablo Montoya and Jordan's brother, Ricky. But hey, guys, we are doing something pretty cool. We're going to be starting a sports car. We're going to be starting a sports car iRacing league. We'd love to have you guys jump in from time to time because it's going to be Big Green Egg guys, Merlin Auto clients, and with some of our other sponsors going to be jumping in. Love to have you guys come in and do a little guest run with those guys. So we appreciate if you guys could do that for us. I don't mean to put you on the spot. You can tell me no or text me and say, what are you, some kind of idiot? Which you guys have done before. But hey, all good. We appreciate you guys coming on, and best of luck today. Seriously, guys. We love watching this race. It's always a great race. And like you said, it's a late start, 3:40, and it'll end 3:40 on Sunday as well. So thank you very much for joining us. Real quick before we go, Juan, where can they find you online and follow you on Instagram and all that stuff?
My Instagram, I think, is JPMonty2, Twitter, JP Montoya, and so on. And, I'm around.
All right. Thank you, man. We do appreciate it. Best of luck. And then, Ricky, where can they find you?
I think all of mine are Ricky Taylor.
JordansBrother.com.
Yeah, just follow at Jordan10 Taylor, and you'll maybe find me there.
At least it's not Fonzie's uncle. You could get that one.
That's right.
That's
Does Acura give y'all road car to drive on the regular road? What do y'all drive on the regular road when you're not racing?
MDX.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep, same. I think everybody picked the MDX.
Nice.
We all love it.
All right. Hey, guys, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thanks for joining us here on Cooks and Cars.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. That was awesome, man. I love having those guys on, and I love the sportsmanship. It's kind of it's a joke, but they're kind of serious, like, hey,
no. There's some serious competition going there. There's no question about it.
Like, hey, we're not messing around. And actually, you drove the Acura in today, which is a beautiful car. So talk about that car a little bit.
My MDX?
No, the car you drove in today.
No, really. I mean, I'm actually pretty amazed by it. My first car was an Acura Integra back in the day. It was right when they came out with the VTEC technology. And so I've always been kind of an Acura fan, and I've always loved the retro NSXs. And so I have now it's a 2017 model NSX. And really, I've absolutely been amazed by what the car is capable of. Comparing it to all of the European sports cars, there's just an element of drivability and handling and performance that this car has. Not to mention, the technology in there's good. It really. I've truly been blown away by how impressive of a car that it really is. And this is really my first time spending any period of time in it. It came out, I think, or I don't know. My first experience in one was like, I remember being in the hospital with my wife when my son our youngest was born. So that was literally 2 years ago. And my buddy who owns an Acura store picked me up in one, and we drove it around Sandy Springs. And I was, doing like 100 miles an hour on a 25-mile-an-hour road.
Yeah.
And I was amazed by how good the car is. But, Acura clearly, I mean, they're into racing. You can see with Ricky and Juan Pablo. I mean, they know, how to build a car and the technology, and it's a hybrid, and it's, I don't even know half the things that go into it, but it's really, aside from being beautiful, it's an impressive machine.
So I have to ask, it is on your website, obviously, for sale.
Yeah.
Are you keeping it though?
Yeah. Well, I'll keep it, I'll keep driving it until someone buys it. You can always tell which one I'm driving because, the price may be on the higher side of things.
You want to stick
and then
around
once I find something that I'd rather get into, I'll lower the price to a more reasonable price. And then, no, I'm just kidding. The car really is fantastic. I think, I don't think it gets as much good publicity as it should.
All right. Great show today. This is episode number 9. You can follow us on cooksandcars.com. Again, interacting with us on Facebook and YouTube. You can also, on our social media side, go to cooksandcars.com where you get Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all that great stuff. And please subscribe because that does help. I know we're up to 10 people on our YouTube.
It'll help if you promote it a little bit. Nobody knows about it. Okay,
we're promoting it. It just started this week.
Now that we don't have technical difficulties anymore, we're getting real guests on. It's like a real show now. So now we can actually, promote it and see and get some feedback from our listeners. That's the best thing. I mean, the best shows have really come when people have sent in and said, talk about this, do this. I have a question about that. And that's really the whole purpose.
Well, that's why I want to start it this way, is because I'd love to take calls eventually even and do all that and get that hooked up. But this was the best way to do that right now as we're in the beginning stages here. But we'll, grow this show with you guys coming along, and make sure you spread the word yourself. If you go to a car show, tell people about it and let them know you got a guy that's a big car guy or a foodie guy and they want to talk cooking. Here's the best spot to do that. And props to Big Green Egg Foodie, Shannon, for coming on and saying, hey, if you want to cook alongside me, we can do it live and all that stuff. That is a great thing. That's a great tool. If you're new into Big Green Egg and just got that wok, she'll help you out. There's no doubt. All right. For Adam Merlin, I'm Rob D'Amico, and our guys back at the shop, Ryan, our executive producer here, Sutton as well, sitting with us in here in studio. We appreciate you guys listening, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next week right here on Cooks and Cars.